as everyone knows, there has been another school shooting that we just passed, but I want to get straight to it. How can it be prevented? What are things that are major factors? You got to stop name dropping. A shooter is just like someone who creates a virus. They want their notoriety, so if they think they can get notoriety from it, then they'll do it again. If you say their name, it'll probably be another one. That's why it keeps happening. You hear Dylan Roof, then you hear this, then you hear this name. I just name drop. But another thing that's good, it's been a thing thrown out, should teachers be able to carry guns? I saw a few things. California has, they got a few things going. They got the Coalition of Gun Violence, where it checks your background. If you come back with anything mentally disabled, then that shuts down you being able to buy a gun. Of course, we know that the system, people are selling guns under the table, so that's a thing too. Metal detectors, okay, metal detectors. I don't know, because you still got school gyms. A school has to be ran, it's open 24 hours. You can go put it in the locker in the gym and then bring it in. My best thing that I really liked was, I know this is like me just going on a rant, but the thing that I liked most was that, I guess it came down to, out of all those scenarios, is that it's a program called Factor. And they teach teachers how to use guns, and it's there, they can be armed. It's only in 32 states, and it's starting in California. If they can use a gun and be able to protect the classroom, let's say, I don't know, if somebody comes in with a gun, of course they're shooting already. But if they can be armed and they know how to use it, because if they don't, they might shoot kids, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, as a teacher who's now been empowered with a weapon, your student stands up, your first instinct is to try to talk him out of it. But he started blasting, you know what I mean? So it's like, you got to be able to change your mental. You're not just a student, but now your class is in danger. Like, are you going to be able to pull the trigger? Like on a young kid?
And then to another point too, say if like a fight breaks out, in a situation the teacher has a gun,
don't go to that.
Would they use it in that situation? But you never know. Because I mean, I've seen situations, you see situations online and stuff where teachers try to break it up and the kid get the best of them. Because these 10th graders is 6'3" now. You know what I mean?
They should be trained.
Yeah.
We don't touch that gun unless a shooter comes in.
Because this is the thing, what we're not thinking about, because so I was a teacher, right, for a number of years. And so a large part of the struggle of having a classroom is classroom management. But a large problem in classroom management is whether or not the teacher looks at the student as a student, right? So black students largely, especially in kind of white populations, don't get the luxury of being looked at like kids. That's not their luxury, right?
Yeah.
So because you've seen videos, you got older white men yelling in kids' faces, you got teachers slamming kids, you got SRO officers slamming kids, you got all of this. The only thing that's stopping that from escalating is the availability of a weapon, right?
Yeah.
Because what you got, it's a numbers game, statistically, right? How often is a school shooting gonna happen?
These days?
Right? No, because even if we did it at the rate that it's happening, it's still statistically low that it's gonna happen at yours. But here's the thing: what is gonna happen every single day, right? If I don't like you, value you, look at you like a human being, there's an opportunity every single day for this to escalate, right? Which means that the risks far outweigh the benefits. When you think about it, right? The chances that this is gonna go left based on the me and you thing way higher than this is gonna go right with a me and a school shooter thing. So at what point, and then here's the other thing. The last, not the last one, shooting before that, that's the one where the cop was outside, right?
Yeah.
My man was like this.
They said he was
Right? He volunteered for this to put his life on the line. He didn't go in. Teachers want to teach, bro.
Yeah, they don't want to.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be put on the front lines, dog. I'm not clapping at nobody.
Another thing.
Let me speak about the psychology aspect of it. Because y'all talk about this is basically what I do.
Let me get you first. And then
Drop that point.
Because this is perfect for it. Because we see it more prevalent, like white kids, are shooting, you know what I'm saying? And we have, like, in our community, we do have a bunch of leaders that go back into the hood and speak. So what are they missing on that side? I know we're trying to solve our problems, but what's missing on that side? Because, like, you have to have a good school morale. If the energy is up, then you're not having kids, the bullying, somebody picking at this person. But we have people, they want to say that the thugs do this, but the thugs, the black thugs, are not going to school shooting. It's happening in our communities, but nobody's going killing anybody's kids. This is supposed to be the safest place that you can have besides home. You send your kids away, it's like, oh, they going to learn, but they going to get killed. So the mental got to change.
Yeah, that's true. And I think just from a school psychology perspective, what our work is surrounding making sure that the school climate is safe for students. And school climate is basically, does the student feel safe and comfortable enough in that school environment? So in incidents like school shootings, we have to do crisis interventions. And what is that? Basically having a system in place where it's effective in responding to these type of events. So a lot of the work we do is surrounding ensuring that we have personnel that are trained to deal with crisis. Now, if you put a gun in teachers' hands, that's putting way more responsibility on them than they already have. Right. Teaching is a hard job, but if you look at the behavioral issues that we have in our community and the teachers that we have, teachers typically have to deal with a high workload of correcting behaviors, classroom management. So look at how that may affect people of color. If you look at the suspension and expulsion rates of black students, it's through the roof. If you add a gun in that situation, what's to say a teacher may not start shooting children in the classroom? Not saying that they will, but even to your point about having training, it was in California where they had training and it was a misfire in the classroom with the teacher who had a gun.
And he was like somebody who really can shoot.
But you're being trained. Look at police. Police officers are trained to use guns, and black men are still dying as a result of being shot.
That's why this whole conversation just pisses me off. I'm gonna just keep it 100, bro, because I have an 8-year-old daughter that's in the school system. And a lot of these interventions, a lot of these let's do something about the situations happens after the fact. Yeah. So after you scar my child for life, after you shoot up the school and possibly, hurt my family members, then we're gonna try to resolve an issue that's deeper than what's going on in the school, it's deeper than interventions. It's asking somebody to care that don't really care about us. Right. So at the end of the day, as long as things keep happening where these white people or, white boys or whoever it is, or black people, whatever it is, no matter what the race, gender, whoever it is, they're shooting up stuff and then you're getting them a Happy Meal before you take them to jail, or they're shooting up stuff and you go police them the right way, and then Raekwon over there pull his cell phone out and they just chop him down with 32 bullets.
But not shooting.
And so how do we fix that issue? How do we get somebody to care about us that hate us?
You got to care. And I want to relate this back to the profession that we do, because we specifically deal with it. You have to have empathy for people. I think society now has been so race war driven that we try to put these, racial fueled arguments together. And this is a tragic event. You mentioned you have a daughter, so you're passion filled with having the school safe. Now, if we look at how the police just police us in general, we can say that there are societal factors that impact the way black people are treated and the way white people are treated. It's a larger discussion that we gotta have. It's not just specific to school shootings, because this dates back to Columbine. Most of all the school shootings I know have happened in predominantly white spaces by white people. Yeah. In our community, it's easy for us to say it don't happen in our community or in our schools, but it just hasn't happened yet.
But the thing is what has actually even changed since Columbine? I mean, that was 1998. And the thing is it seems like it's growing and growing and growing and growing.
It keeps happening.
It's about enablement though. This is when we talk about lines, okay, because this is follow me on this. When we talk about race lines, the reason that because it's easy to just say there's some crazy white kids, which may or may not be true. But what is driving that behavior is privilege, bro. White people have the luxury of shooting up an entire school because they were mad and getting their yearbook picture posted. You see what I'm saying? People are never going to take their humanity away. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same. If I go through Gap, right? If I go to Gap right now, right? Like I like to shop at Gap. There's some little white kid in there throwing a fucking tantrum and calling his mama a bitch and slapping her in her face and trying to stop. And everybody's gonna be like, My kid go in there, right, and look at a tag and damn everybody swooping, right? You know what I mean? They on cameras. Because it's about how we view them. Even now, Dylan Roof gets arrested, and even then, at that point, they don't say, oh, it's a monster riding in my back seat. They say, is that your stomach out here? Let's get you some food, player. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me feed you. But when you have a society that coddles white men who largely have the frailest egos there are, right? You take that thing and you couple it with being a child, which is already hard, right? You're going to get picked on, you're going to get broken up with, you're not going to be the fastest in your class, you might get fat, you might spill something on your shirt and people call you doo-doo stain for the rest of your you know what I'm saying, high school career, whatever. You got to deal with all that. We, as a people, whether it's healthy or not, are taught to deal with our trauma. More often than not, it manifests still, but it doesn't manifest as this, I'm about to go blast everybody, right? Maybe it manifests as depression. Maybe it manifests as a learning disability. Maybe it manifests as poison. But we culturally do not believe in punishing everybody for what one person did.
If you hurt me, I'm hurting you.
I'm hurting you.
See, I'm not going to.
But on that side, hold on, because I'm gonna tie this even historically. You think about something like, even something as big as, say, slavery or Jim Crow or whatever, right? All of the arguments for why that happens should justify it happening in pockets, right? It says if this is an economic system and it's about economy, then we should do it in Alabama, right? In this specific community, but it's not. It turns into a race thing. It's not these black people. It's all, right?
All black people.
It's not this thug shot my son. It's those thugs,
but
right?
let me piggyback off your point. It goes back to the thing of value, like you said.
Right.
Like we have these school shootings, but the amount of school shootings is still minute, right? But in our communities, we shooting each other every day. Right. So when the society looks at it, they're like, okay, this one student, this one bad egg went through and killed the whole school, but John killed 6 people in his own community this week. So when you look at us, you're gonna be like, well, any of those could be John. Any of us could be John.
But I hate when they make that point.
It's not one bad egg.
I hate when they make that
That's
point.
6 bad eggs, and they might be
See
good.
White people kill white people in their environments too.
Yep.
We can't make the black on black crime argument synonymous with us killing each other in our community. No, we can't do that.
It's not synonymous for us, but it's synonymous.
But I'm talking about the law. We adding that to the law discussion. We can't do that.
But that's why I can come up and I can be afraid of you. Because when I look at you, I don't know who y'all are.
You know, it's unexpected the way that happens with the school shootings. You know, and I hate to do it culturally, but it is what it is. With us, you expect that fade, that one-on-one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come and kill everybody's kids. You know what I'm saying? Historically, you know what I'm saying?
Like, you don't shoot on Sunday.
We're people of peace. You know what I'm saying?
You know how crazy it is? We're talking about school shootings, and the conversation has shifted to, black on black, or just dealing with our community when statistically, do we even feel like this is our community issue?
No, it's not definitely.
So you see how the conversation turned to like black on black.
But I guess it's just more so that, you know, the fact that the treatment. So the thing is, we're looked at as if, you know, we are an abomination in our community. You know, black on black crime, I committed crime in my community. Oh, that's another black thug. But Dylan Roof and the guy who just did his last shooting he's just one bad egg and he killed 20 people.
And we need to stop putting everything under the mental health umbrella too. Like all these school shooters,
some of that straight hate.
Some of that is it's not mental health. Mental health, you have specific signs that align with a certain diagnosis, and you're diagnosed by a certified mental health professional. We can't just throw that out there and it be like a late term for dysfunction.
And then at the end of the day, with mental health, it's such a catchy subject because I know how to pass a mental health exam and I know how to fail one. So at the end of the day, I can give you terms because it's what's in my mind and what I allow you to see that's in my mind. So we talk a lot about problems in this situation. I think that's why we only get to a certain point. What's the solution? Well, to me, the solution is, because I'm not the type of person that thinks as a whole, everybody's bad. Man, I believe in love above all else. So when it comes to other races, I have love for other races, but at the same time, if you love me and you're of another race, you stick up to your own people and you police them the way that we need to police our own people. Because I don't like to hear nobody outside of my race say, well, black people kill black people. Because then I can go and say white people kill white people. And now we just arguing about a point that'll never be proven. So at the end of the day, it has to come down to us with our friends, our relationships, having these open conversations, having these talks, and letting people know that, you might be of another race and there's love between us, but show me that you love me by speaking to your people.
But as a teacher, as 3,000 students, how do you do it?
But I think
you know what I mean?
within
How
the
do you
school-
look at them and say, what?
But as
who's going through the
a
most?
teacher,
Who's going
Within the
through
context
most?
of the school, bro, school used to be the safe haven, but the school used to be the safe zone where nothing really
Same way
happened
with
in
the
all of
church.
our
School and
communities. So we need
Thank
better
you.
personnel. We need better training for our personnel, our staff. We need more security. We need to make sure the school is safe for our students and our
It needs
children.
to be
Also,
more
to
to
go and get educated.
But
Not
even-
that I got to fear for my life to go and read a book.
But
They got to
even
boost
beyond
the,
that, like,
the morale of the.
But I'm talking about
positivity
specific
in
to
the
school.
I'm with you.
The larger discussion, we need to do all of what
because
we say.
something is feeding that though. So even if you get, let's say that you introduce
What's an
skilled, right? You introduce skilled and concerned and empathetic personnel in school, right? But the national narrative is still such that a white person cannot kill 20 people and it be considered terrorism. You see what I'm saying? Like it's impossible, as we understand it right now, for white people to engage in terrorism. It cannot happen, right? From Columbine till now, none of those, not one of them, has been considered terrorism.
Yeah.
Not one. But we have gone as far as having people who are not even from, like Trump, for example. You had an act of terror. Somebody did something. There was a travel ban on damn near every country except the one that person was from.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for us, okay, there are things that we can do in school, but I think it's about driving a larger conversation about how it is that we deal with those issues. Because right now, by and large, there is no consequence, especially in the way of like perception and treatment for that kind of terror.
And then,
But do we teach people how to treat other people? Like, is that our responsibility in the household?
I'm not-
As professionals,
I'm just
we
telling
gotta
my
do it.
kids to
As
like-
professionals, we gotta
partly, you can't never miss the opportunity to say anything to anybody because you never know what you say, how it affects somebody. So I can grow up in a home where I'm taught hate all my life, and I live throughout hate. But somebody shows me an ounce of love, and it explodes inside of you. You can't ever, for me, you can't just ever miss the opportunity to preach that, to teach that.
Sure.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you take all the money that you got in this system to save the kids?